to the Place podcast. My name is Nicole Morgan, and today I have the pleasure of being here with Paige Ashkeboussi, and she is in charge of our adult education program, and so we're going to get to learn a little bit about that today. But if you haven't been with us before, we are The Place, and we are in Forsyth and Dawson County, helping with essential needs and services to help people to get to that self-sustaining part of their life. So we'll start today with the adult education. So Paige, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do here at The Place.
Okay, so thank you for having me.
Yeah.
So as you mentioned, I'm the adult education coordinator. So that just means we offer classes that we think would benefit the community for anyone that's 18 years or above. So currently that includes GED classes, ESL classes, parenting class, financial literacy class, and even forklift.
Yeah. I'm excited that we get to go into all those, but let's do a breakdown. So we said GED and ESL. So for those who don't know those abbreviations, what do those mean?
So GED is just your high school equivalency. So for whatever reason, if you didn't get to finish and get your diploma, you have the opportunity to get an equivalency. There's HiSIT and there's also GED. We focus primarily on GED because that is accepted from most universities. About 97% think it's equivalent to a high school diploma, and about 90% of employers also find it equivalent.
That's cool. And ESL?
English second language. So if you're new to the country, or if you just new to English in general, or want to even get a little bit better at your English, they're kind of fun classes where you can get with other people who are also trying to learn English.
Yay! Okay, awesome. Well, let's dive into the adult education classes. What make them kind of stand out? Like, what makes them important here, and how are we removing barriers for people when it comes to these classes?
Yes, very true. I'm glad you touched on that. So obviously you don't have to come here if you want to do your GED or even learn English as a second language, but something that does make us different is we do try to cover any kind of barriers that you may have. For example, if you're like, I'd love to get my GED, but the classes are in the evenings and I have a family to feed. How am I supposed to do that? So for those classes, and just about all of our classes, we offer either a snack depending on the time or a full meal if it's mealtime. We have free childcare. So if you're like, well, I'd love to do it, but who's going to watch the kids? Not a problem. We got that covered. We usually have fun environments where they can enjoy themselves while you're getting your studies going. And then, especially GED, we do our classes online, but we do ask that you come to class in person. If you're like, well, gosh, I don't know, gas is expensive. After 8 classes or 25 hours logged into your computer, we do give out gas cards to try to help cover the cost of gas. We're just trying to think of anything that can kind of help with that kind of stuff. Materials are all free. GED, it's $46 per subject. It's 4 subjects to get become a graduate and officially have your GED. We cover the cost of that.
Yeah.
So,
and then the test too. Y'all cover
right. That's what I mean. The test, each subject.
Okay.
Yeah, because you can take it one at a time. So you can take your time with it. A lot of our students right now have already completed 2 subjects, so they're halfway done, and we cover the cost of all of that. Yeah.
I love that y'all have the snacks or meal and parenting, or like the childcare, because I know that's a huge thing for me and my husband.
Yes. Like, especially parenting class. A lot of times it's couples.
That's fair. Probably should be. But I do love that you have someone who's here to watch the kids, so you can.
Yeah.
Like you said, it removes that barrier.
Mm-hmm.
It allows them to come on and move themselves forward.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let's talk about the GED program. So that's general education. So we're talking high school equivalent. But tell us more about that program and what you would want people to know about it.
Okay. So sometimes, currently we're doing them now. We pick a different spot depending on availability, but we're right now doing them at Cumming Elementary. So we're very thankful to have that partnership. Because they are during the school year, the school's closed during the summer. Some people think, classes are only August through May. I'm coming in March. What's the point? But that's not true at all. You can come in at any point. Being that the classes are done online, everything is self-paced.
Yeah.
So if you're like, it's already started, I think I'm too late, you're not. Also, most people think I got to take all the subjects at once, and really I really want to concentrate on science. I never was great at science, but you can take it one subject at a time, and you don't have to start with science. Most people choose to save the one that they're most anxious about for last, understandably.
Yeah. Do you teach, or is it, you said it was all online, but they come in and do them, so tell me a little bit more about that process.
So if anything, I may come in front of the class and kind of tell them a little bit about something I'm able to see as an administrator on the program. I can see areas where people overall maybe could use some vocabulary practice and tips and tricks on that. But I do a lot of webinars and learn about just test taking tips, or even just explaining to them what test day is going to look like, right? If you have to go to a testing center in linear tech and you've never been on the campus, where do you go? What can you expect? Am I allowed to bring my calculator? What are they going to provide for me? What's the environment going to be like? That kind of stuff I like to really, okay, so you're going to test next week. You're going to be nervous, but that's okay. Here's what I can tell you.
That's good, because I know a lot of people get test anxiety, and if you're already worried about it, and then, like you said, you don't know where to go or what to expect when you get there. So I'm sure that helps a lot of people
And
out.
then if they're like, well, what if I don't pass? Well, we're covering the cost. We try again. You know, I will give you more stuff that hopefully will help you, and then it's okay. We'll get through it. Don't give up. That's all I always have to say. Don't give up. You'll get through it.
That's awesome. And what can a GED do for someone? Like, how can that help them in their life?
I mean, pay automatically comes to mind. I think a lot of people will say that too. They're like, I got to get paid more. Don't we all, right?
Yeah.
But you're going to automatically make more. The higher you have an education, the more I think a company has to pay you. I've even found out that if you make a certain score on the GED, I think you can get out of prerequisites that if you wanted to go to school.
Wow.
But I think it depends on the university and the college. Automatically more doors open. A lot of places require that you have your GED or high school equivalency or diploma, just to even apply or get an interview. A lot of people that I talk to are mothers, and they just are like, I'd like to be that example for my kids, and I always admire that.
Yeah, be an example for your kids. That's a huge thing. I'm sure that's a big plus in their heart.
It's also, kids are a great motivating factor for sure.
Yeah. I love that, like, GED, like you said, could open doors. So it can open another career, it can open a better job, a better high paying job. So that's really awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so second program we're going to talk about is our ESL, so English as a second language. And you now have 2 levels of that, so that's amazing.
So classes are also at Cumming Elementary. We got a second class, which I'll talk about in a minute, but it allows me to kind of have my GED class overlap with that class. But we have a beginner level ESL and an intermediate level.
Okay.
So those classes are always a lot of fun. There's a lot of high energy. It's people who just kind of want to get out of the house and improve upon their English, and maybe they do have something like, I got to get better at my English if I want to land this job and I have an upcoming interview or something. Or maybe it's just like, I just want to meet like-minded people and who are also trying to improve their English, whatever it is. But the biggest thing, I think, since we do now have 2 classes, is they have to contact me so that I can give them a test to determine which one would be the better fit. I think people automatically are like, oh no, I'm a beginner. And it's like, you're speaking to me in English. I don't think you are. But they're often their worst fix, and they're like, I don't know. But we'll put you in the class that we think fits better for you. And if you're like, no, this isn't challenging enough, or it's too challenging, then we can always put you in the other class. It's not a big deal. But contacting me is your first point of contact, and hopefully I think I'm pretty good about getting in touch with people pretty quickly and getting you in the spot before spots fill up.
Is it more conversational, or do you have instructors?
There's lessons for sure. We, I think like to, depends on the class, beginner or intermediate. For intermediate, I'm noticing there's more speaking, which people get very nervous about. They don't mind the lessons, they don't mind writing notes, but then they get very nervous speaking in front of others, and I tell them we have to hear you so that we can help you, right? But I think in the beginning it's a lot of lessons, and we still do lessons every day, but then at some point in the class we'd like to hear you speak, and a lot of it is just like the person next to you, have an interview with them right now, and then you practice what we just went over.
That's really cool. And you said it's really high energy.
Yeah, they're always a lot of fun. I mean, it's very fun because you meet people from all over the world, various languages and cultures. Okay. You learn a lot about what people were doing before they came here and what they're doing now, and they're fun. They're a lot of fun. They're always, you have some that are shy, of course, but you have some that are like, okay, I'll volunteer. It's fun.
I love that. So you said it's different background languages or native languages. Do you see like more of one, or is it
probably more Spanish?
Okay.
Yeah.
And what else have you seen?
Ukrainian, Turkish. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I love that we have that's awesome. I love it that we have a mix. It makes it fun. So with the ESL program, we posted about it, and y'all just had a special guest. Can you tell me a little bit more about the special guest you had?
Okay, yes. So Scott Feldkamp is an HR representative at Forsyth County Schools. I got to know him a couple of years ago now. He does classified jobs within the school. So classified jobs are custodian, cafeteria employee, bus driver. So I think he was working with Amanda, our workforce development coordinator. She got us in touch about maybe connecting him with some of my students who may be looking for jobs. So what I did, because I've known him a couple of years now, he's super friendly, is one of the things we had to cover for my intermediate ESL class was interviewing. And I thought, well, let's actually do a mock interview. So I know that I've been doing this interview, if you can't tell, I'm pretty nervous, but I could never imagine doing it in a language that's my second language.
Yep.
So I thought the idea of doing it in a low stakes environment where you're not actually applying for the job, you're just practicing and getting a sense of what kind of questions can I expect. Maybe I'm new to the country and I don't know what kind of question. I couldn't even imagine answering a question like, what are your strengths and weaknesses in a second language, much less. So just kind of practicing that. So he gave his typical what do I normally ask, what really stood out to me at the end of it. And then he got to go on about, all right, we're currently hiring. Here are the positions we have, and if you're interested, here's how you apply. So it was. Do
you know if any of them did?
I had one ESL student in the past. So I don't think it was last summer. I think it was the summer before. I had him come in as a guest speaker, and she was looking for work. And I connected them too, and she works at the school that I go to now for my GED and ESL classes. I see her, say, hey.
Oh, I love that. I think that's such a great resource to have for them to come, like you said, and be able to have that practice interview that's not in an actual interview. It's not you're messing up your first interview. You're just there and you can converse, and I mean, he can get the feedback of like, okay, well, maybe you could have phrased it this way, or like you did really well here, but let's work on this. I think that's going to be invaluable. So that was an amazing thing to add. Okay, so let's go next class. We'll talk financial literacy.
Okay.
So tell us a little bit more about that one, and is it something, I mean, I know we could all probably use a little bit of financial literacy, but tell us what that class entails.
Okay, yeah, so you're not wrong. Everybody, it feels like every time I run this course, somebody says, gosh, I wish I learned this in high school. Yeah, I think we all feel that way, even people who feel like, I think I got a good, they still feel like there's always room to learn.
Yeah. Especially when it comes to money.
Yeah, and these classes are pretty just how to set up a budget and stick with it, okay? And tips and tricks that are advised. So currently we're working with Pinnacle Bank, and they do basically recommendations. So like the 50-30-20 rule. try not to spend over 50% of your income on needs, no more than 30 on wants, no more than 20% on, and you could choose either savings or debt management, or split it and do 10 for each.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why the class is pretty overarching and broad, but that's why we also have a mentor that's assigned to you, because I think that the people who sign up for the class are all there for various reasons.
Yeah.
There's some who are just new, they're just right fresh out of college maybe and just got a job and want to understand how to start building their credit. There's some who need to really manage their debt, or some that are looking to retire soon and want to figure out how they can do it on the budget they have, because it's slim.
Yeah.
So we try to help them in whatever way we can with just some tips on how to handle all those and make it really geared to them.
I love that. And I know we talked last time with Megan, and so her clients and the long-term client assistants take the financial literacy classes as well.
Yes.
And helping them get to that self-sustaining.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so next class would be our parenting class, which we touched on already, but what all do they learn in the parenting class?
Okay, so we do open it to the community, so it's for anybody. It is our Love and Logic parenting classes is what we call it. Love and Logic is I guess you could call it a curriculum. It is ministry based, but it's kind of, I like to describe it, and having listened to it, find it to be kind of natural consequences. Like, oh yeah, I know that you wanted to go to the park this weekend, and I did tell you that we would go, but also this week you didn't do your chores, you didn't take out the trash, you didn't make your bed, and since I had to pick up the slack of doing that for you, we now can't go to the park. It's like puts kind of the responsibility on them of, well, not everything is going to fall on mom, and if it does, then I have a natural consequence for it.
Yeah.
Just like adults, I think.
Yeah. Do you find it to be a very supportive atmosphere where parents can bring their issues?
Oh yes, this last one, it was fun to listen in on. They go to the first class and they're like, I don't know, I can try that on my kid, but we'll see. And then the second class they came in and they're like, so we tried it, and the kids were a little taken aback, like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? You normally immediately say no, or you immediately argue with me about making the bed instead of just saying okay, and then the consequence coming later in an unexpected way. But consequence, I think, sounds bad, but just something that just is a result of because you didn't do this is what happens. And it was really fun listening to it. They were saying, I tried it and it worked, and the kids seem a little taken aback, and they would say, this has been great, I've really enjoyed it. We survey every class at the end, they're like, I really enjoyed it, this has been great.
Yay. That's so good. So it's giving the parents a little bit of a confidence boost too.
Oh yes, definitally, I see it.
Yeah. Making a stronger family, stronger parents, stronger family.
I hope so.
That's awesome. Okay, so you talked about GED and ESL being during the school year. So what happens during the summer?
Yes, so because it's out of school, the school's closed during the summer, totally understandable. So we like to offer summer study hall is what we call it. So during the school year, the students sign a contract, but during the summer, it's just, hey, you, especially our GED students, you still have access to the computer, but let's be realistic here. You're home and the kids are home. How much time do you really have? So we like to offer them an environment where they can still come. It would be the same hours, same days that they were doing all throughout the school year. And they can sit and do their studies, because learning loss is a real thing. It's not just something that happens to kids over the summer, it happens to students. So if you've been really booking it in social studies, and then you take a 2-month break and want to come back in the fall, you may have to scale back a little bit. We don't want you to lose that. We want you to be able to continue and hopefully even test and finish. So it's something we like to offer the GED students especially.
Okay. Yeah. And you said a contract, so if the GED students sign a contract before they, during the class year?
The first day of class is a lot of paperwork. Well, not a lot. It's like a childcare waiver if you have children, filling out our client ROI paperwork, but also we just have a contract with just an understanding, classes twice a week. We totally get it. If you get sick, you just have to let us know. If you stop coming, we may have to give your seat to somebody else. So just an understanding.
Yeah. And you did have a wait list this time, right?
For ESL, yes.
Okay. For both levels?
once we filled both classes, people were just added to the wait list. And then whenever the spot became available, I would contact them and test to find out which level they were in. Yeah.
That's exciting though.
Yeah, it was great.
That. Do you have a success story that just sticks out into your head, or multiple?
So it's always fun whenever somebody who's in like GED also is like, yeah, I'd like to do the parenting class, or I'd like to do the financial literacy class. And I did have somebody that did that. She initially was in my ESL class. So she, I thought, already had pretty proficient English, but she wanted to go with her sister and help her sister improve her English. And then she's like, I think I'd like to make the switch to GED, because you do have to be fluent in English for GED for our classes. And we're like, sure, I think you're ready. So we signed her up for that. And during the school year, she also said, I'd like to get better with my finances, so I'd like to do the financial literacy class as well. And then financial literacy isn't throughout the school year, it's periodically. And so once she finished that, she continued through the summer study hall and managed to graduate. And at that time, she was like, I'm still working on my finances. I'm hoping I get it. I'm like, you've just got your GED. Like, you can get a better paying job and get out of it soon. And she's like, I hope so. Recently, like a week ago, I spoke to her. I wanted to touch base with her. And I'm like, so how's everything? How's everything going? She's like, good. I'm in a really good spot financially. I was thinking that I wouldn't get there, and I have. And it's been really great.
Yay! Yeah. I love that. And we got to celebrate her, was it in the summer?
Yeah, she graduated over the summer. We celebrated. We had a whole thing, capping gown and everything.
It was so cute.
Yes.
I love it. I love how invested you are in the students and how you make sure they feel special when they hit those milestones.
I like to. Even little things, like, because you can pass one subject at a time, I print out certificates and I give it to them.
It's so good though. It's motivating. I mean, to have someone like you on their side and like being that coach or being that cheerleader is probably really impactful.
I hope so.
You're doing good work.
Thank you.
Okay, so we've talked a little bit in each of those about who teaches them, but could you give like an overview of like the volunteers that are needed, mentors, who teaches the classes, where we find these partnerships?
It depends on the class. I know that I am a little bit more picky with my volunteers, just because something like financial literacy, I want to make sure you're giving good sound advice. GED, I mean, we always could use math tutors. So if you would like to help with GED and you're like, but I never was a strong student, then maybe there's another way we can help. For example, I mentioned that we like to provide snacks and meals and things like that. If you were like, oh, well, I wasn't the best student, but I'd still like to help, then it would be great if you could create a meal. The students went on and on. A volunteer group recently did something simple. They just gave like little Subway sandwiches, and one of the students went on and on about how great it was. So the students love that, and we of course love that. And I think with teaching, so our partnerships really help with that. Financial literacy, I like it to be somebody who has that kind of finance background. And parenting class, I have a dedicated teacher for that one, because she's familiar with the Love and Logic curriculum. And ESL, I sometimes teach the class, but I do like to have somebody who also maybe had English as their second language, or maybe are bilingual themselves, because then they definitely can feel what you're feeling whenever you're in the class feeling overwhelmed. Hopefully not, but if you do.
Yeah, that's amazing. Anything else you want people to know about what you do?
I think you can always reach out to me if you have questions. Maybe if you have suggestions, I'd be open to hearing them. Just general things that you think that would benefit the community, just reach out to me directly.
So you talked a little bit about volunteers and meals and childcare, but how would you recommend, or what are the options for them to get involved? And
reaching out to me. We have our volunteer coordinator as well, and she outlines kind of the expectations, but she also includes my email in case you have additional questions. But it kind of depends on the class. I think GED, we just need tutors who are on standby. Even though the class is done over a computer, it's only so helpful, I think, to try to learn math over a computer. Sometimes I think you need that one-on-one human touch. But financial literacy, somebody who has an understanding of things like credit scores, debt management, ways to identify identity theft and how to get out of it if you are unfortunately a victim of it.
Yeah.
So reaching out to the volunteer coordinator or myself, I think we can help you answer any questions.
Yeah. And what kind of, I know you mentioned the Subway sandwiches, but what kind of snacks and meals, like how big are the classes, or how much would they have to prepare?
I usually give a rough estimate of 20 to 30. I do want to try to give enough so that the volunteers who are, they're there also during dinner time. I'd like to feed them as well. But also there's the children, and the children are hit and miss. Sometimes they're starving, sometimes they don't want to touch it. But it depends on, since some of the classes like financial literacy and parenting class are periodic, it would depend on how many people signed up. Sometimes I have more people sign up than other times.
Yeah. And we do have a new opportunity out there. You talked about volunteer coordinator Amber, so she's got that out on our volunteer portal, Golden. And so there is a meal option now, and it'll give out all the lists of the meals that we are in need of right now. So that's a great way to figure that out. So we've got volunteering, and you listed off those. We've got drives or in-kind meals, snacks. Do you have someone for childcare? If someone wanted to volunteer for childcare, could they do that?
That would be great. We do have a couple of people, but like tonight, the two people we have are sisters, and so one of them's son is getting married, and so neither of them are available.
That's
so
fair.
I'm going to be, which I don't mind, but if we could have like an additional person, that would be great.
Yeah.
So the only stipulations with that is if you're over 18, you have to have a background check done to be with kids, obviously. But if you don't mind doing that and you love children and you'd love to help out, we really appreciate it.
Yeah, that'd be a great way. And then we have a Heart for Our Community matching campaign still going on, which does benefit our client assistance program, which is adult education falls underneath client assistance. So that matching grant will help these programs as well, and the funds that we need to either pay for the GED classes, the materials, the time, the food, the snacks, if we have to purchase any of these things. So that is a great way to support as well. So always we give you those 3 ways. So you can volunteer, we can do in-kind or drives, or we can do monetary. And we have options for all of those with this program as well. Paige, thank you so much for being here today. I learned some things about our adult education program, and I love how you gave people ways to get involved and how you're always looking for different things with each of those volunteers as well, just because you really want a very specific person to come in. So it's not just anyone, you're really focused on giving your students the best that they can have. And so I think that's really cool, and I thank you so much for being their cheerleader and being there to support all these students.
Thank you for having me. I'm love to do it.
Yay. Okay, well, thank you again, and please do watch the rest of the episodes, and if you have any questions, we will add Paige's information in the show notes, and we'll post it when we post it to social media as well. But thank you so much. Bye.